beatboxing. Did you guys like that? Yeah? Awesome. How many of you know this band called Black Eyed Peas? Yeah? They have this song called. So now that is fine. If Mr. Rajnikant had to remix that beat, right? It would go something like. That was Mr. Rajnikant. Thank you. So my name is Abhishek Bhaskar. I'm a beatboxer, MC, designer, and an entrepreneur. So this is how I had the most random beginnings ever, right? So yeah. So I was just walking around the road one day, and there was a Durga Puja festival happening in Kormangla. So I was like, why not try out beatboxing, right? How it appeals to the masses. So I went on and I registered for this competition called Boogie Woogie. It's a dance competition. So there was no relation whatsoever, right? So I registered for the dance competition, and I had a set of 5 minutes, which I just beatboxed, and the crowd went crazy. So they couldn't understand what was happening, but then once I understood that all the voices were coming from my mouth, all the sounds were coming from my mouth, they realized that, whoa, that's crazy, right? So I got this consolation prize after the event of 200 rupees. So there I realized the financial freedom, the financial independence an artist gets. So there I saw that this hobby of mine can become a full-blown profession. So I started building my profile, I started performing at events, more and more events by the day. And then there was this incident where I got picked up by an MNC to come and perform for them, right? So I had to go and beatbox. I did a set of 10 minutes. So after that event, one of the top bosses came and asked me whether I could teach them. Hey kid, could you teach us, right? So they always wanted to learn beatboxing. I'm sure many of you guys are going to go back and try out beatboxing, right? So going to go back home, right? So this boss did the same thing, but he wanted to actually learn beatboxing. So the next day we had a beatboxing workshop, and that's how I realized that there's a necessity to train people in beatboxing, right? So I wanted to engage people in beatboxing and get the word out, and that is my way of adding to the community as such. So I started conducting these beatboxing workshops everywhere, and very soon, this happened last year, where I had the opportunity to conduct India's biggest beatboxing workshop alongside Virat Kohli and Chris Gayle, right? So if you work hard, it's not actually that big a deal where you don't get success. You will get success. And this is how my timeline has been, right? In 2015, I got a chance to conduct the beatboxing workshop with Ranveer Singh, and he's way more excited than I am, right? He has way more energy than me. So, and in 2016, I had this opportunity to conduct a beatboxing workshop in an entire filled mall alongside Virat Kohli and Chris Gayle. So after this, I started off in my 10th, before my 10th board exams. That's how I got 75%, right? Otherwise, I would have got 90%. That's the reason I give out always. So I had to pick a degree after my second PU because my parents wanted me to be an engineer or some kind of a typical field, right? So, but I wanted to do something different. So I was just walking along with my friend one day after tuitions, and he's like, hey, this architecture doesn't have maths. So at that point of time in second PU, when you have all that pressure, right, it got me excited. So I went online, started browsing what is bachelor's in architecture, and it had drawing lines, yeah? And I didn't see that there's not a lot of mathematics in it. So at that point of time, for me, that was very exciting. There's no maths, you get to draw lines, right? And that got me excited, and I enrolled for bachelor's in architecture. So in the first semester, I was not actually very interested in architecture, right? So many of my classmates remember this. I always just tell them, I'm just here for the certificate. I don't care about bachelor's or getting a degree, right? Because beatboxing was going so well for me. As an artist, I was trying to be cool, right? So maybe by like Frank Lloyd Wright, I could probably quit in the third year and carry out my own profession. So it's not all fun and games as an artist. So once I realized in my second semester, as I started getting more design projects, I realized that I actually have a tendency. I actually started loving design, right? There's some kind of a creative freedom in that. So as I started progressing, I started realizing maybe I can do both, right? Not sure, but maybe I can do both. Maybe I can invest more time in architecture. Because at that point of time, beatboxing for me was not a completely full-time profession. Because you beatbox for 15 minutes, you're free the entire day, right? So I could invest more time in architecture. So once this was done, I actually have a confession to my teachers. I used to copy till my third semester. So I used to copy a lot. Because till then, I was actually studying for marks, not for the knowledge. I was least interested in architecture. But one day what happened was, I was sitting in the first bench because I used to talk a lot, naturally. And I was just sitting in front, and these teachers, they knew we were copying, the entire class, right? So they knew who all used to copy, and they used to talk among themselves. Oh my God, look at him, he's copying. Okay, leave it, that's fine. So that hurt me a lot personally. Like, I couldn't bear the fact that even if they knew, even if the system knew what we were doing is wrong, right? They were fine with it. So I took it upon myself to not go with this and go against this. So I started working for actual architecture, for the actual knowledge part of it. And that's when I started seeing the results, right? So once that I stopped studying for marks and I started studying for the actual knowledge in architecture. And architecture is a very vast subject. So that's when I started seeing results. In fifth semester, I got sixth rank in class. In the next semester, I got fourth rank. And as the semesters progressed, I started topping the class. And before that, till my third semester, fourth semester, I used to get 15th or 20th rank in class, right? So what I'm trying to say is, don't work for marks. Marks doesn't get you anywhere. Look at the bigger picture. Work for the knowledge. Marks is just a byproduct of what you're actually working for, right? So these are the kind of projects which I want to work on. And even as an architecture student, I don't actually want to be the mundane designer, right? Which follows. So what new am I adding as an architect, right? What new am I adding to the community? How am I bettering the community or the society? So this is one project which I'm currently working on with a colleague of mine. It's called the Pack City 2020. So as you can see, you have these individual pods which are made of, it has an inner ring which has the landscape area, and you have an outer corridor, and outside that you have all these spaces which you can stay in. So you have the living room, kitchen and all that. So when you combine this pack and you put it into a steel structure, say you want to live on the 5th floor one day, and you want to live on the 50th floor one day, that is possible because your pod can travel through the steel structure, right? You have that mechanism on top which lets your pod move up and down, and you can stay anywhere you want in that entire structure. So these are the projects which I want to work on. These might not be constructed right now, but what new can you add to the community? That's what I want to work on. So this is a blown up picture of the pack model. So as you can see, it's a stack of 5 floors of pods, which has a central park and all these various activity zones, where you actually feel like you're staying inside a city, normal city. So this was another project which we did for Udaipur Smart City, where we had to design a street. And we saw these various inspirations. So wherever we saw these pictures, they all had these pictures of these green fabric sheets to protect the people from the all the heat waves over there, right? So we took that as an inspiration, and we came up with this idea of why not put beams between the buildings and lay them with solar panels? Because Udaipur, and with respect to that place, you can harvest a lot of solar energy, right? So we put these columns and beams across the buildings, and for that, we gave an incentive-based system. So that entire street which you see there, which is around 2.4 kilometers, all the buildings there get free electricity because of the energy generated, and because for letting them use the buildings for beams and harvest solar energy. So the inspiration for that were those green fabrics which were laid. So that's how we translate it. So it gives you free energy. It gives you an incentive-based system where you get diffuse sunlight as well. And we're adding to the community. So the next project which I worked on was this Lexus Design Award. So what I had to design was an installation. So rather than going for the typical installation where you have a small pavilion and people can come and stay there, I had this idea of why not use pipes, right? So I called it the pipe pavilion. And how this idea works is you can give any form you want, any random form. So in this case, if you can see the side elevation one there, I just gave that as a form, and all the pipes align to that particular form, and that can be used as any type of installation, amphitheater, or anything you want. So these are the type of projects which I want to work on, right? So what I want to leave here with today, right? So the life of an artist is very easy. That is, if you work very hard. It's kind of a cliche, but that is how it works. I like giving my 100% in anything I do, right? As a beatboxer, and the way I was brought up actually, I was told to be independent, right? Not put your faith in anyone, or try supporting yourself as much as possible. So that's what I want to do as an artist. So whether it can be architecture or it can be beatboxing. So I try to look for independence as much as possible. And that's what I want to leave you guys with a thought today. I'm not trying to motivate you guys here today. The main intent for me is to show you guys that, hey, look at all these doors here, right? Pick a door which you like and go through it and give it your 100%. Because there is no shortcut to success, right? You need to follow and just give your 100%, and the success will be guaranteed. So that is what I've always tried to do, and always what I'll be doing till my last breath, yeah? Or till my last beat. So what I want to try here today, so these are the two things which I do, right? Beatboxing and architecture. I want to try something which probably has never been done before in a TEDx event, right? Can all of you guys get up? Come on. One small activity with you guys. We can make a TEDx anthem right now. Yeah? All right? Okay. So I'm going to give this beat, which you might recognize. Which song was that? Yes. But what we're going to do is slightly different. You guys are going to say TED. You guys are going to say X. Wow. TED again? Okay. Are we ready? Yes? 3, 2, 1, go. When I point at you guys, you say TED, you say X. All right? 3, 2, 1, go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being an amazing crowd. This is me, Abhishek Bhaskar, signing off, and I would like to leave you guys with one idea. You have the power to do it. It's very simple, right? So you can do it 100% if you put in your hard work. And this is me, Abhishek, signing off, and this is what I want to do. Better the world, one beat and one design at a time. Thank you so much.